Good afternoon, friends. Jai Hind. It's my indeed proud pleasure and honor to be in conversation with Colonel Lokendra Singh. Colonel Lokendra Singh is the working president right now at the moment among the Meitei tribe, Meitei community who have appealed for a scheduled tribe status. So he's the president of that committee, and he will tell us about this committee, about the demands, the wants, what it was, and about the case, and most importantly, the way he thinks should be the way forward to get back peace in a beautiful land like Manipur with beautiful people, irrespective of the tribe, caste, creed, community. All of them who reside in Manipur are, I think, amazing people. Sir, thank you very much. Jai Hind, and thank you very much for taking your time, sir.
Jai Hind, and thank you, Major Shah. You are an expert on Manipur. There's nothing much that I can really explain about Manipur to a person who knows in and out and more locations than I have visited. That you would know. But I can only tell about what I'm doing and what is the problem here now. See, actually, just to be not trying to say who I am, but I have been spearheading this demand for inclusion of Meitei in my community, that is Meitei, into the scheduled tribe list of India for the last 10 years. Now that I've been on it for 10 years and I've been keeping in touch with what's happening around here in this place called Manipur, and I have a first-hand knowledge of a lot of things. So now if we come down to what is happening here in Manipur today, that means I can start with, I don't know where, it being a very big issue. A lot of things have happened, a lot of things are likely to happen. But one thing I can come up with is, at the moment, there has been an outcry from every section of the society in Manipur, outside Manipur, in India, and wherever in the world about that parading of two girls nude by people said to be about 900 to 1,000 people on the road. That literally has shaken up everyone and everybody here in Manipur and everywhere else. But let me ask you one thing. Has anyone ever asked what happened to those two girls once the video clipping was over? I don't think anyone ever asked about it. Then anyway, what I want to tell here is that is a selective reporting of an incident. Right. Now, what happened thereafter when the video finishes that the Meitei women came forth with and saved those two girls.
You mean the Maira Pai
they gave them clothes, took them to the police station, handed them over to the police station, and the police people took them to the safe location where they are today. Now, that has not been a part of the report. Now, the next question I want to ask is, if there were 900 to 1,000 people on the road with two females being carried away like that, where have all those people come from and why have they come? That is one question we ought to ask also. That is the retribution of what happened the previous night. And now the previous night, that is the 3rd of May, there was said to be a peaceful solidarity rally by the, they call it ATSUM, All Tribal Students Union that is the Cookie Students Organization. They carried out what is called a peaceful rally, but which everyone in the video clip must have seen that they were AK rifle toting people moving along in the rally. Now their rally finished sometime in the afternoon, so around noon at Churachandpur. After that, around 3 o'clock, they marched about 10 kilometers to the neighboring Meitei village, and they ransacked it, they burnt it, they destroyed it, and they did all that to not that and the adjoining villages. At the same time, the localities and Meitei villages inside Churachandpur itself.
Just a minute, sir. Just a minute, sir. We'll come to this. Just a minute. We'll come to this, sir. So basically, you're trying to say you are also sorry about what had happened about the parading of the women, and like the whole nation is sorry about it. It shouldn't have happened. And as a man, as men, we actually literally are shamed by that. And but the very fact is, you are not defending that act, because I don't want people to misconstrue. You know, it's very easy for people who are watching. They tend to misconstrue things that. So I want to tell everyone who's watching right now that Colonel Lokendra is definitely not defending, right? He
No, no,
definitely.
yeah, I got your point. I'm not for or against anybody. I'm just trying to put the reality. What I'm trying to say is that the situation was so created. You remember what happened during the Indo-Pak, what's called India's partition, 1947? You know what, all those human beings being pushed out from India towards Pakistan, from Pakistan to India, and all the women and children being slaughtered, and what kind of a tension atmosphere was created at that time. Nobody knew what was happening. I will not call it exactly that, but something similar to it, but to a very reduced scale, happened on the night of 3rd of May, followed by on the morning and the whole day of 4th May. 3rd and 4th night, and 4th of May daytime, when there was this news being spread from Churasanpur side that the Meitei nurses were being raped and being killed, and something that of that sort was, it was that all over in the social media. So the people in the valley area, they retaliated with all their might. Their idea was to hit hard, and what we will do as much of damage to all the cookie people in the valley area, and push them out to the cookie dominated areas. Now that was a thing, that they were being Meiteis were being pushed from the cookie dominated districts, and cookies from valley area being pushed towards the hill. So that situation was such that there was this emotion filled mobs all over, trying to hurt each other the maximum. At that point of time, if two girls were being paraded by 1,000 people for one reason or the other, but they were finally saved. That's the point. What I'm trying to say is that whatever happened, sanity prevailed, and they were saved, and they're alive and kicking today. Anything could have happened to them on that day. They could have been beaten to pulp, or anything could have happened. But they were finally saved, and that's what I'm thankful to God. Sanity prevailed. Despite the mob, they were saved. This is another part of the story which should have been included with that video clip. I hope you're getting my point. Now, I would like to ask another question. Instead of you asking me a question, let me ask the question. That incident is supposed to have happened on 4th of May. Now the month of May over, month of June over, on July 19th, it surfaced all over on one single day. It was viral. It has reached all the media channels. It had reached all the media houses, TV channels, all the parliamentarians, and then it reached to the Supreme Court also. Even if you and me were trying to send out a video clip, will it go viral to that extent in one day? No. And that also contained something called obscene material, and the system would have stopped it unless it was done on purpose by a government agency wanting it to go viral on that particular day. Right? And just look at the timing. It was done on 19th, and on 20th, the Prime Minister comes and comes out of his own breath of almost 2.5 months and says nothing about Manipur except that story about that limited story about that video clip. And what I'm trying to get at is there something behind showing those video clips? Is there something behind the Prime Minister speaking only about it and nothing about the 120 or 130 odd people dead and killed, and the killing still going on, the fighting going on, the burning going on? Nothing of that was spoken. And that is really sad. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't know why the government, or let's call it the Prime Minister himself, doesn't seem to be taking interest to what is happening here, and things are moving on as it is. There is this firing and bombarding everything that's taking place from the hills to the valley. Even yesterday, there was this thing going on for the almost the whole day, with the army and the Assam Rifles looking and watching the whole thing, with the Manipur police standing there and trying to fire back a few shots of that nature. It's something that's happening on a daily basis. I mean, don't you think that this should come to an end? Like, we all want peace here, but the responsibility of bringing peace here is not with the state anymore. It is with the government of India. You'll agree with me on that point? Now,
yes, I agree with you.
Thankfully, the Home Minister visited Manipur on 29th of May. That is almost a month after the incident happened. But what was really hurting was that he reached Guwahati on 28th, spent a day there, and the next day he came to Manipur. And the reason for his staying overnight in Guwahati is that they had to do with something to do with the BJP parties distributing some kind of a sundry item thing. And he couldn't be bothered to give priority to the death and burning and the pain in Manipur. That party affair happening in Guwahati was more important than what was happening in Manipur. He came 1 month later, and he didn't even come direct. He came as if though he just come for a something or a normal thing that was happening. He stayed for 3-4 days. He looked everywhere, and we all had a talk. And I was the fortunate to be a part of the people who were talking to him, and everyone explained to him that it is the narco-terrorists, planting of poppies, illegal immigrants, and everything. And at one point of time, Amit Shah ji said, no, वो सब मैं जानता हूँ, वो ठीक है, लेकिन आगे क्या किया जाए, आप सुझाव बताइए. That's when some people had said that inquiry, judicial inquiry at the highest level be carried out, and he took it. What I'm getting at is that he seemed to have understood what was the reason for the problem, why it was happening, narco-terrorism, poppy plantation, then illegal immigrants, NRC, and everything. He seemed to have understood, because he said, I have understood, mujhe sab kuch malum hai. But when he left the state, and when he gave the news conference, he said he blamed on the demand for scheduled tribe by Meitei community and the High Court giving a hurried judgment on that issue was the prime reason for the violence. Now, I, as the working president of the Scheduled Tribe Demand Committee Manipur, if today we declare that, okay, we will stop with the demand of Scheduled Tribe, will the violence be over from tomorrow onwards? Do you think so? If that is going to be over, I mean, I can take that stand and say, okay, that we call off the Scheduled Tribe movement. If that's going to bring peace 100% from tomorrow onwards, no, it's not going to happen, because the demand, what the cookies are demanding is something different. And that was only a minor excuse, because it happened on that fateful day of 3rd of May when they were going for a rally. So Scheduled Tribe has nothing much to do with their demand. This everyone knows, the whole world knows now. Earlier they were trying to put it across in a different manner. They were trying to project that it was a cookie, and I'm sorry, no, I won't say cookie, Hindu versus Christian problem, where the Hindu majority was targeting the Christian minority. No, it's all wrong. Like it was the Meiteis targeting the cookies. So anything that belonged to cookie was damaged. The church belonged to them, so it was damaged. Right, I stay in a mixed colony, a place called Chingmirong, where there is a Don Bosco school, and next to the Don Bosco school is the church.
Sir, I don't wish to know where
for
your safety only. Sir.
Okay, narrative had gone wrong, but it's coming straight. Now, my point is, what is happening today, and what should be taken up immediately to bring the issue to an end. Now, what is happening today is The Kuki people are demanding for a separate administration. Therefore, they're carrying on with their demand. Their demand seems to be this demand is connected with the constitution provision. They demand a separate state. It could be in the form of sixth schedule. It could be in the form of union territory or a state, or it could be making a Greater Mizoram joining up with whatever it is. It's a constitutional demand, but the demand has gone out in a most undemocratic way. Their way of demanding is firing upon the villages, bombing the villages, shooting at the innocent people or the people around, whether they hit or not hit, burning down the villages. This form of demand is still going on even today. It happened today, yesterday. I have not checked about today, so it was happening till yesterday also. Right. Now, the point I'm coming at is, if they are demanding in this way, the government of India is taking notice of it every minute, every day of what is happening. Now, only yesterday itself, they were called for talks with the MHA people for the second time in the last 10 days. In the talk, whatever the talk happened, what is surprising is that government of India, or let's call it the MHA, has not told these militants to abjure violence. They have not been instructed to go back to their barracks because they are under suspension of operation with the government of India. They were not told to go back to their barracks. They were not told to abjure violence. They were not told to stop firing upon the Meitei villages. They are not told to stop burning down the villages. And that is very hurting. I mean, that will hurt anybody's sentiments, whether I'm a Meitei or anybody else, right? I mean, what is the agenda of the government? One can't really say anything on it. If this is the situation now, you would be wanting to know, asking me as to what should be the way forward, isn't it? I would like to ask, anybody would like to ask, what's the way forward? I mean, what is the way forward here? Firstly, you stop the violence here. You have the wherewithal to stop the violence. You call back the Sioux people. You call back the militants. They are under suspension of operation and agreement with the government of India. Why is the government of India not calling back those people, telling them to stop the violence first? Whatever has to be sorted out has to be sorted out across the table. It has to be talked out. Okay, you take this, we take this, you give this, we give this, you agree on this, let's agree on this. That has to be finally on the table. And that can only come out once you stop the violence. So why is the government of India not making an effort to stop the violence? You see, there are 35,000 people, the security forces deployed in Manipur. But what are they doing? They're just standing by and watching the issue. That they're firing upon, they're burning the villages. When the police try to go in, they said, don't go in. And they stop it, and once it is over, okay, now you go in. Something like that. I mean, it's very, very strange that such a large amount of security force have been deployed in Manipur, but effectively they're doing nothing on the ground, just standing by and watching it. Once the thing is over, then they perhaps they'll give a report. So many has been shot, so many dead, so many has been burned, so many injured, so many carried away in the ambulance. Is that what is expected to be done at this moment? I mean, if you put the security force, employ them, tell them to stop the firing. Like yesterday when they were firing bombs from the hillside, the Assam Rifle forces on one side, the army forces on the other side, the Meitei, what you call village defense people, along with the police were on the receiving end of the village, but the security force were deployed and they were doing practically nothing. Till the issue, the firing stopped of its own. I mean, what is the point in keeping the security force if there nothing is going to be done? I mean, is that because so that somebody can give an explanation that so many people have been deployed and the situation is being slowly being under control and things are working out? I mean, but practically nothing is happening on the ground. Mr. Shah, I wish you are an expert on Manipur will come down and have a look around here and see for yourself and not go in for what is being reported on the news or on the paper, on the medias of every hue and color. I mean, things are,
So
I'm sure
firstly, thank you for the compliment on the on this that thinking that I have a good understanding of Manipur, but I'm just learning, and I don't know, sir, whether you're being sarcastic or you mean as a compliment. I don't get that, sir.
So my submission is for anything,
Sir,
for
so,
any
so,
step forward,
were
please.
you being sarcastic? Were you being sarcastic, or why did you mean it as a compliment by calling me as an expert on Manipur, sir?
that's, oh, that's okay. Now,
No,
now,
I'm
see,
asking, was it you are being sarcastic, or was it a compliment, sir?
no, it certainly was. I won't say that I'm being sarcastic. You have spent so much of time here. You know the language of each people here. Then you know you have been to all over the village and countryside where I myself, being a local, have not gone across here. You know so many. I mean, the culture, the people, the language, the villages, the hills that you have climbed. I don't think I've done even one fourth of it. You really are an expert owner, I would say that. And you've been here when the things were in a very difficult state, when the fighting, when the insurgency was at its height. So you'll know better here. And of course, insurgencies, they are not there anymore. But what is happening here now is it's of a different nature. We can talk on it for hours together, why this is happening, why that was happening, and what is happening now. I mean, but my first and foremost request to all and sundry is that first, please stop the violence, and that can be stopped. The valley people are only responding to being attacked, to responding to being fired upon, responding to bombing them. If there is no fire coming in from the hills, nobody will fire from the valley. The violence would stop on its own. But that is not what they are doing it. What I mean, I don't say they, me and they is not the issue. That is not what the Chinkuki people are doing it. Perhaps that is because they are putting up a very strong demand, a large demand of breaking Manipur and perhaps creating a new state or a new union territory or a greater Mizoram or whatever. And that's a constitutional demand, I say that again. But let's go ahead in a democratic way instead of fighting on innocent people and burning down villages. And that the government in India can stop it even now, today, from this moment onwards. Why isn't our Home Minister, Honorable Amit Shah ji, taking a decision to rein in the cookie militants who are doing on show with the government of India, and he can rein in them. He can he
Right, sir.
can direct
So
them
just
to
a minute.
stop fighting. I'm
So
saying that
you
again.
said, so very well said by you, very well said by you that first violence has to stop. Only then one can take it forward for a dialogue, for talks. Very well said. In fact, we all have the same view. So, and you say the Meiteis were just defending themselves when the cookies come to attack them. And if I speak to a cookie gentleman, he'll say the same thing that we were only defending when the Meiteis came to attack us. My personal take, sir, I'm neither Meitei nor cookie. I have seen. I think the Meitei people are very good people, very cultured. I think the cookie people are very good people, very cultured. Overall, the Nagas are very good, very cultured, very large-hearted, very amazing people. In fact, so my take is all of them are good, sir. So the thing is, the common man is fighting and dying, and they're fighting and dying. I mean, it really makes no sense because I spoke to my Meitei friends, I spoke to my cookie friends as well, I spoke to my Naga friend as well. I asked them, "What's going on? What's this? What's this? Why can't you guys just? Why is this fighting going on?" And I saw a lack of trust from both the sides. As you said, the cookies would be firing on us. The cookies would say the same thing. The Meiteis would be firing on us. But very well said by you. The violence has to stop firstly, once and for all. Only when violence ends can a dialogue begin. Right, sir? Please go ahead, sir.
No, I didn't get the last one.
So the same thing. I'm on the same page as you, where you said when the violence ends, only then a dialogue can start, sir.
When the violence ends, we can start afresh, anew. See, look, my what do you call, my take is what happened.
Sorry, my dear friends, there seemed to be a network error. And in fact, of course, sir has been very kind and very, very patient to have taken out some time and speak to us from a place where there was bad network. So hopefully, he should be back with us any moment now. And but let me tell you, I had a long conversation with sir on the phone. I mean, just before this live, and in fact, sir's views were again of peace actually, You're saying we should all come together. We should all, and what he said in the beginning about the viral video and he wasn't what he spoke just now. He condemns it. That's what I gather. I think he's back, but yes, he's back. Yes, yes, so you're back. You're back. So while you were away for a minute, I was telling them that my personal understanding about when you spoke initially, because you were not here on screen, so I was filling up the gap till you come back. That my personal take was on the viral video which had gone when you opened the talk with. You definitely it's very sad. You condemn it, but you were reporting the story, the incident that had taken place. Now, so I don't want people to misunderstand that that you were. You know what I mean, sir? So people normally in media, mainstream media, they try to twist the thing. But here, this is not mainstream media. I'm doing it purely unconditionally, with no expectations, out of my love for Northeast, nothing else. So I want the right thing to come out. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please continue, sir.
No, I went off net for a while, and what I was saying was that once the violence stops, once we can only start afresh. We have to start negotiating whatever is people's desires, wants, what the cookies want, what the Meiteis want. They can always be talked out in a very democratic manner, at peace with each other. We cannot go back in time to correct the beginning or change the beginning, I should say, but we can always start from wherever we are to what you call bring a change to the end. At the ending can be changed. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever's happened in the past, we can always sort of overlook that and start afresh. For that, we need a congenial atmosphere, an environment of peace. Now, see what the Valley people did on the day 4th and 5th was emotional outburst. Nothing more, nothing less. Sanity returned, and that very evening of 4th or 5th, and there was a relative peace and quiet in the valley. But on the hillside, as if it was being carrying on a planned agenda, the violence continued. They kept attacking. Now, what I'm trying to say is that perhaps is because they are putting up a demand to the government of India for whatever they want. But our only take is, let us first abjure violence, come together, and discuss it out at the appropriate platform, appropriate place. I mean, one couldn't seek for something better than that. I mean, see, whether we like it or not, the Meiteis will have to live with the cookies, and cookies will have to live with the Meiteis together. I mean, like the saying goes, that you cannot change your neighbors, is it? So where is what good is this violence going to bring at the end of the day? Nothing. So let's endure this violence and go ahead, go forward with something, forgive each other or whatever that happened, and let's take a step forward towards a peaceful ending. What do you have to say on that?
100%, sir. 100%, sir. Almost 3 months. It's going to be almost 3 months old. Almost a few days away from 3 months old, and the violence is just going on. And you have served in the army. You had an illustrious career in the army, sir, with the Gurkha Rifles, and in fact, I have served in the army. We both have had Gurkha troops. I was with the Assam Rifles. When I was with the Assam Rifles as a company commander, we had so many Gurkha troops with us, and they're very, very good. In fact, so the very fact is, now if army would have been called on, then the violence could have ended in 24 hours, 48 hours, 2 days, 4 days, 6 days. But the army hasn't been called on as yet. What do you think? Why, sir?
There could be so many reasons, political reasons, actual ground reasons. The army has been sent as a peacekeeping force to Manipur. The army chief was here in Imphal for 2 days. He took a spot check and found out, and he gave the statement later on that what is happening here in Manipur has got nothing to do with insurgency or counter-insurgency. Therefore, army does not have a role here. This is what he said. Now, if the army doesn't have a role here, then army having been sent here, perhaps it's for flag march or something as a showpiece, that if things go out of hand, the army's days will take control. But that can be a showpiece for a day, 2 days, a week plus 10 days. But now that 3 months have gone by, and if the army on there only for the showpiece, that's bad. That is really bad. One reason could be that that they have not got the appropriate instructions from top, from where it's about things. This is exactly what I asked to the army officers here with the Assam Rifles, with the army. They said they have not got any additional instructions other than working as a peacekeeping force. So I suppose they're doing the best of peacekeeping. I mean, that's my take.
Right, sir. But sir, because it's an ethnic problem again, and there were civil clashes between civilians, not insurgents, civilians. So if the state government of Manipur wants, they can ask for the army as an aid to the civil authorities, where there's a magistrate, and it can come in to stop the rioting. Neither for that we haven't seen. We have been waiting, but the army hasn't been called in. I mean, army is called in as an aid to a civil authority. Army can put an end to this within no time.
No, I didn't get, again, the net interference was there. I mean, what you were trying to say was that if the army has been called in, they should be performing. Is that so?
Sir, what I'm trying to say is, if the state government has to give a requisition for the army to be stepped in as an aid to the civil authorities to control the rioters.
Right. Yeah. That sort of a situation has not arisen in the Valley area, that is Imphal area, where the Armed Forces Special Power Act has been removed. I mean, there's the situation for employing them in the aid of civil authority. That situation has not arisen so far. So they have not come to the aid to civil power as such, in the literal sense of the rule as such. But in the periphery areas, where the Armed Forces Special Power Act, APSPA, is still relevant. I mean, they should have no problem in going ahead with whatever is needed to be done. You cannot just absorb yourself by saying that this is just an ethnic clash between two groups. Therefore, army has no role. If somebody is firing from a particular bunker with guns and 2-inch mortars and whatever, I mean, they must take some kind of action. You cannot be just standing there and watching them, waiting for them to finish, and then give a report to the higher ups. They have stopped firing now. Abhi koi casualty utna nahi hua hai, do hi injure hua hai, and they have been sent across through the ambulance. I mean, that's not the job of the army as such. That is I call it misusing of the army. You have been put there. You must do the job, which you can do it, unless you have been told not to do it. So I don't know. If I can see them. One can see them at the nearby post. They are very close to where the firings are going on, but they never seem to do anything much about it. I mean, what is restraining them? That is anybody's guess, unless there are orders towards it, or there are orders not to do it, or orders to do nothing of that sort. I mean, this is something we have to ask the higher ups, and I have not asked anyone that matter. I've only consulted and spoken to the officers who are employed here, deployed here, and they've got no, orders of nothing specific as to what else other than the peacekeeping job. The peacekeeping job is it's a very vague term as such. Now you take the interpretation. What is this peacekeeping is going to be? What does it involve as such? So if they're here, I would wish that they could be given specific instructions that if they're firing bombs, stop them. If they're going on a spree on burning the villages, stop them. Something like that can also be done. And not wait for the thing to be over and then say that, okay, clear up. You go away. You go and that sort of a thing. I don't know. I really can't. I find it very. I find it very stupid to find the army people employed in this way. They're not doing what is expected to do. That is the big question I have. Why are they not doing what they're expected to do? They're expected to stop the firing by some way or the other. And like, for example, after the show is over, they can carry out combing operation and pick up the weapons. Can't they? Yeah, but if they're on suspension operation, they can always tell them to go back to your camps. Can't the army do that? Or they have no authority to do that? Then somebody must give them the authority to tell the weapon wielding militants to go back to your camp, stop the violence, and I mean, I'm not finding the correct and appropriate word to say what's there in my heart. I mean, they're not being fully utilized. That's the point that I'm trying to make. They should be fully utilized to stop the violence. Once the violence is stopped, then everything else can follow. Does this satisfy your question or not? Hello?
There's a call coming, but it's okay. I'm hearing
Are we still on the net?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, sir. You can please go and talk, sir. There's a call coming. If I skip the screen, it will get stuck, sir.
No, I can't hear you now.
Sir, I'm hearing you, sir. I'm hearing you. Sir, tell you one thing. You are the working president. You are the working president of the Meitei's demand for the scheduled tribe status. And initially, when the violence broke out, everyone said that it's because the Cookies were not wanting the Meiteis to get the scheduled tribe status, and the violence has broken out. That now I find further and further and further and further the poison, the hate, the venom, the hate is spreading, sir. In fact, between both the communities, the mistrust is only spreading. The rift, the gap is only getting wider. It pains me no end. It pains me no end because I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, unconditionally feel for people. I feel for Cookies. I feel for Meiteis. I feel for Nagas. I feel for everyone. And now slowly, the greatest danger was it's spilling over. Now they're spilling over to other states. Unfortunately, we are seeing Mizoram being affected by it. We are seeing Assam being affected by it. We are seeing Meghalaya being affected by it. I hope it stops straight away. I hope. Sir, how come the Nagas are also tribals? How come the Naga didn't have a problem in the Meiteis getting tribal status? I want to ask if you may.
Because basically the issue is not whatever the turmoil is not really connected with scheduled tribe demand. If the demand for inclusion of Meitei into the scheduled tribe list of India was the basic issue, then the Nagas would also have chipped into the turmoil. They have stayed back. And why only the Cookies in the Cookie-dominated areas the problem is taking place? Now that obviously means that was only a ploy. They had other objectives in mind. Now you must be already aware that the Cookies have had what is called the demand for a Cookie homeland. They call it Zalingam or Zogam. Now, if you mentioned about Mizoram, now let me say a word on that. The Honorable CM of Mizoram, Zoram Thanga, during his heydays, during the 60s and 70s and 80s, he was the deputy commander or deputy chief of the Mizo National Front. I'll repeat that, Mizo National Front as a rebel group. Now, only in 1986, after they came for the peace accord with the government of India, and the Mizo National Front from a rebel group was changed to a political group, and then the chief of this rebel group, the chairman or the chief or the commander, Lal Denga, he was made the home minister, chief minister of Mizoram. He held 2 tenures. Then some other chairman, the CM came, and now the deputy chief of MNF Now he is the CM. He has been the CM, I think, for 2 terms at least. Now suddenly, after the turmoil that happened here on 3rd or 4th May, the Kuki Chin people from Manipur, they've started demanding for what is called a Greater Mizoram, an issue that Zoram Thanga had given up a long time ago. If this has gone to his lap, all of a sudden, or let's say it was unplanned, I mean, I don't know if it was planned, but let us call it unplanned, it has gone to his lap. And then doesn't want his feelings of wanting to have a Greater Mizoram be awakened afresh? And if that has taken afresh, then he would certainly want that things should move accordingly. And now, perhaps that is to do with what the statement that he made in the month of May, that Mizoram, that MNF has not, MNF, Mizo National Front, has not given up the issue of Greater Mizoram. And then again in June, he said the unification of Zo people is on their agenda, something of that to that effect. And then about a couple of days back, he had categorically stated that the Chin Kukis of Manipur, if they should demand their different state or the different homeland based on Article 3 of the Constitution. So it is as if he is backing them, or he's advising them, or he is, I won't call it interfering, like the CM of Manipur state has said, but he has gone to the extent of telling the Kukis, Zo people of Manipur that they should go ahead with Article 3 of the Constitution, which means making and remaking of states. So with that in mind, if he has joined up with them, then there is something is going to, the issue is going to become bigger. Now, accordingly, the Meiteis who are working, I'll call it employees and doing business in Mizoram, they were told to leave for their own safety. They all have left. Now, most of them are stuck in what is called Silchar. Now, from Silchar, you know Silchar, from Silchar, they have to come to Imphal.
Very well, sir.
They can neither come by road, nor do they have enough money or wherewithal to come by air. They're all stuck in Silchar, that is Kasar district of Assam, adjoining with Mizoram. Now, they're all stuck there. Now, that itself is another issue. And now the Meiteis there is a Meiteis in Kasar district, or the Valley district, Barak district, as they call it. They've also given they have also told the Mizos staying there or living there to leave the place for their own safety and go to Mizo. This has to be curtailed. This has to be curtailed by the government of India. The state government is apparently in no position to do anything. We are told that Article 355, that is half the 355, that is half PR, I'll call it. The 355 has not been what you call formally applied into Manipur, but the fact that the Honorable CM is not the commander of the unified command, and that unified command is being taken charge of by the what you call security advisor in conjunction with the governor, which means there is de facto Article 355 in Manipur now, informally. Now that has put the position of the state government in such a way that they are not able to function in any way to control what is happening here. Now, if that be so, it is the government of India who should step in and take control of the situation, which as of now, I think has perhaps is because they lack the interest with what is happening here, or they are too busy with the coming up elections. The Prime Minister has not spoken anything particular about the death and the crisis for the last now 90 days. Home Minister visited the state once, but other than that, nothing practically has been done to stop the violence and bring peace over here. That is I mean, if you go by what is there in the media domain, there's absolute disinterest being shown by the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. I'll call it collectively the government of India. Why? Why is that so? That is a question that I would like to ask one and all. I'd like to ask the government of India, what is it that is stopping them from stopping the violence, which I've said earlier also. So, I mean, the things has gone, the issue has become bigger. They spill over to Mizoram, they spill over to Assam. I don't know what all is going to happen next. The violence is still going on. But if it was something that was beyond the control of the government of India, that's a different matter. But I say the government of India, the Home Minister can stop this violence today, from today and now onwards, by giving those specific instructions to the Sioux people, that is the Kuki militants who are under suspension of operations. Now you give that.
Just correct me if I'm wrong. Just correct me, just from my understanding. Sioux was signed in 2008 ultimately, and what I understand is, just a minute, sir. And what I understand is, in Sioux, suspension of operation, one key is with the government of India officials, one key is with the Sioux commander. Am I right or wrong, sir? I just want to understand this part.
Right. You're right. And then there are two issues in this. If the keys and are being one with government or one with them or whatever they are, I have no issues with it. The fact is, why are the Sioux people roaming around with the weapons in the civil area? And then furthermore, coming towards the valley side and opening firing. What are they? Are they from the Sioux people or not? If they are Sioux people, then you control them and rein them in. If they're not Sioux people, then who are they? Are they the illegal immigrants coming from Myanmar and doing this violent activities on their own? If that be so, it's an issue of national security. Foreigners coming and firing in Indian territory. That is another issue that the government of India and the Home Ministry, Defense Ministry, External Affairs Ministry, they must take up. So it is something within the ambit of the Home or the Defense Ministry that you have to first say, if they are Sioux, control it. If they are not Sioux, they are foreigners coming in and doing it, then take charge accordingly. Treat them as foreigners aggressing upon Indian territory. So if nothing is happening, then why this disinterest? That has to be the basic question. Why this disinterest? If you're helpless, that's a different matter. The government of India is not helpless.
So I have one more question in my mind, sir. And you have served in the army. I've had an illustrious career in the army, and me being an army officer also, I'm slightly trying to understand this fact as a young officer, as now not serving anymore. But I just want to understand this. So recently there was an army operation where they released 12 KYKL militants, Kangla Yamong, Kangla Luk, and when they were surrounded by Mira Paibis, and on humanitarian ground, the SPECO, in fact, there's a tie I'm wearing of SPECO, sir, where I was ADC to two co-commanders. I had the fortune of learning from there. So the army released, either they were forced to release on humanitarian ground, whatever. The SPECO came out with a tweet and a video that it was released, they were released on humanitarian ground, and they also mentioned that one of the militants in that was self-styled Lieutenant Colonel Uttam Timba, who was the mastermind apparently of the ambush on the 6th Dogra Battalion in a couple of years back, where we lost 18 of our brave hearts. So do you think the army and the soldiers, they should have let them go, they should have handled it, or they should have, like there is a proper tartib, like aid to civil authority wali, that the officer, how to disperse a mob, where he says, he orders his men, लाल वाली शर्ट के नीचे घुटने के नीचे फायर कर, whatever. I don't know. I don't know whether as a senior officer, what do you think? What your take is, sir? How should have that situation been handled? First, second, more than that, I want to know. Sir,
I have only one thing. The army should have done as they should have done in any other situation. They should have done as per the book. If they were sure that they were KY killed, they should have nabbed them and not allowed them to go. I mean, then if you nab them and then you let them go, then what are you doing? I mean, you cannot change your what do you call mode of operation. You have to go by the book. We all have to go by
Right,
the
sir.
book, don't we? As per the rule of law. They are here to establish the rule of law. So you must go by the rule, must follow what's written in the rule of law. That's my take. If they felt
Right, sir.
that they should be released, it is their decision. It is the army's decision. I have nothing to say. If they felt that they should be released, they released it. It is their decision. But
Fair enough, sir. Fair enough.
another decision could have been that no, there are underground people, so as we have to take them. That is another decision. So it is their take. But I would say that the army they are here to ensure that the people follow the rule of law, and they should follow the book in whatever the situation they are caught in. Whether my take is the people like it or not, I mean, we all come under some kind of a rule. We must follow the rule book at every time. And what made them release them, I'm not sure. What was the compulsion that they have to be released? That I'm also not sure. But they, as an army entity, I've also worked in insurgency location. I've been posted in Nagaland and during insurgency period, and you have to go by the rule book. But you may take decision depending upon situation, all right. And the army commander at the situation has taken his decision, and that must be the best option at that point of time. That is, I mean, we should not be dissecting it now. That is the point.
Right, sir.
But
Fair
now
enough,
that
sir. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
okay,
enough,
now
sir.
that you brought up the issue of the valley-based undergrounds. Now let me say something on it. The valley-based undergrounds, they had all been pushed out of the valley, and they were operating. They are and were operating across the IB in Myanmar, and the Myanmar army has been taking them on, and especially after the civil war in Myanmar, they were finding it very difficult to live, I'll call it, peacefully in Myanmar as such. Now the situation is erosion here in Manipur. A strife-torn state has been created. Now, I mean, situation has been created such that these valley-based insurgents were across the IB would definitely want to enter into the valley and join in the fight. And perhaps that could be one of the reasons why the government of India has allowed this situation or the turmoil to carry on longer than required. I mean, if the valley-based insurgents were across the border, if they join in here in the turmoil, then they would be fighting the Kuki militants, and at some point of time, the Kuki militants and they were in the firefight, many would have died, and India could have at that point of time say that without the army having fired a shot, they have almost cleared or cleansed the valley-based insurgents. That could be one of the readings. It's just one of the thoughts that came to my mind as of now. But even if they are cleansed, if the situation of how things are moving on now, it continues for a longer period, then a stage might come when all the youth of the valley-based Meiteis, all the youth pick up arms. If all the youth get motivated and pick up arms, and then there will be a new crop of thousands and thousands of youth who are likely to become future insurgents. That is one point the government of India should take note of. In an effort to finish off, say, a couple of thousands of valley-based insurgents, if there is a possibility of creating 10 times that amount or 100 times that amount of potential UGs or underground insurgents in the near future, then government of India must give that also a thought. You know, that's something that can happen. the situation has become Meitei versus Kuki. Although I look at it as government of Manipur versus the Kuki militants, I don't look at it as a Meitei versus Kuki, like every media house is trying to project it. It's basically Manipur government versus Kuki militants in the Kuki area. Exactly. There are no civilians involved. They were involved for a day or two on an emotional outburst at one point of time. Now it is a state government versus the Kuki militants. And if the civilians are being brought in between, that's just too bad. And if the young boys, the who are whose mind can be manipulated, if they are exposed to an environment where they come up, they are forced to or want are sort of a not, I will not say force, but they are motivated to pick up arms. And if thousands and thousands start picking up arms to fight the Kuki militants because the government is ineffective in fighting them, then we are in the process of creating thousands and thousands of Meitei future insurgents. That is one point the government of India should take note of. That is my take.
I understand your sentiments, sir, and I understand that this has to end ASAP as soon as possible, because that's the reason, sir, why I have taken the initiative on my own accord. I mean, I haven't been appointed or designated or anything. I said, let me contribute my little bit in trying to get peace. If though it may not happen, but whatever little bit I can contribute just for my simple love for the state, nothing else. Just for my love for Meiteis and my love for Kukis and my love for Nagas and my love for other states neighboring, where there is a risk of it spilling out further. So just for that, sir, we have taken an initiative. Sir, I really sincerely thank you for your time. And, I had requested you for a few minutes, and it's going to be an hour. I remember when we spoke on the phone and I told you, sir, 15 minutes. I remember your reaction. You were like shocked. What, 50 minutes? And we have gone over 50 minutes. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Before we let you go, sir, any last message of peace you would like to throw to the universe, sir?
The last message, that what is not is, I just want to repeat that it is not a Hindu versus Christian problem. It is not an ethnic problem between the Meiteis and the Kukis. It is not a fight of the civilians versus civilians. No, absolutely not. It is, the issue now is of the Manipur state government fighting the Kuki militants. And from the Manipur state government side, they are using the police as the state force fighting against the Kuki militants, with the media houses trying to project the problem in Manipur as Meitei versus Kuki. I mean, that is, they're just building up an issue of a non-issue. It is not. So please be selective in your language of saying it as the Manipur state government versus Kuki militants is the problem in Manipur, and let us, and that is the problem which the government of India can stop any minute, now or today or tomorrow, when the government of India takes a decision to stop it. And I wish and I would hope that the government of India, I mean Amit Shah ji and the Prime Minister Modi, whom I have a lot of respect, they would take this decision to stop this conflict, to stop this violence forthwith. And I will appeal to them to take that decision now. That's all. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. And since just a last word, sir, though I have taken a small initiative on my own, I have been speaking to a lot of my Meitei friends, Kuki friends, Naga friends, as well as some Mizo friends as well. So I don't know some people say you are siding with some one particular side, community, tribe. Nothing like that. I am for Manipur. And yes, I do side with Meiteis. I do side with Kukis. That means I side with humanity. I do side. So any advice from you as an elder, as a senior, would like to give me, sir, about my small little initiative that I have taken, sir?
Actually, if you can just visualize the sufferings on both sides, that is suffering on of the innocent civilians on both sides, in the relief camps here and relief camps in the hills. There is so much of suffering. Imagine, I can't imagine how the health sector is being taken care of in the hills, when the doctors were all mostly from the valley. And I don't know what, I mean, on both the sides, education has gone for a six, the health system has gone for a six. The effect of this turmoil has created so much of a havoc for the for the innocent civilians on both sides of the barrier, I'll call it, on both sides. And the Meiteis, I'll call in the valley, they are in the administrative hub of Imphal, state capital. So I'm sure they will be better off than those in the hills, and they will be having a very difficult time. But for some political reason, of some commander, of some politicians or leaders, they are exposing the entire civilians on both sides to suffering. Why? For the vested interest of some political ends, of some politicians or some leaders, or some I'll call it their ethnic leaders. This is taking things little too far. We must bring an end to this suffering, and that's the last thing I can say. We should stop this violence to bring an end to this human suffering on both sides. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Truly appreciate, sir. I hope peace comes to Nagaland to Manipur very, very soon. And because when I was in Nagaland, sir, as the HC to the GOC 3 Corps, to the Spec Corps, I used to come to Manipur really very often. And I have the fondest of memories of the entire Northeast belt, be it in Mizoram, be it Tripura, be it Arunachal, be it Manipur, be it Nagaland, be it Arunachal, be it anywhere. So my lot of love, sir, and we are praying to the Lord Almighty for the safety of everyone right now in Manipur, and lots of love and affection to you all, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind, and thanks.